Hi everybody and welcome to Collage Techniques. Let's begin by writing your name and your class on your Collage Techniques paper. Okay, so the first part of making a collage is choosing your base or choosing your background. All of the other papers are going to be stuck onto your base. So for this, for the purposes of this example, I'm going to choose 4 pieces of paper and just stick them onto my Collage Technique sheet. Now, if you're going to use a glue stick, you do need a piece of free draw paper because using a glue stick can be messy and we don't want to mess up your collage. So I'll show you right here. So you want to take your base, cover it with glue, make sure that you're really getting the edge. And if you're doing a great job of getting the edge, you're also going to get glue on that free draw paper. Okay, then you flip it over, stick it on there, press it down so no bits are sticking up, and then you move on and choose 3 other pieces of paper to stick on for the rest of it. Okay, I think you get the idea now. Go ahead and pause this video and carefully glue on 4 base pieces of paper. The second step of creating a collage is selecting the materials that you are going to glue onto your base. In this case, I ripped out a few pages of a magazine, and for the torn paper part, we're not going to use scissors at all. So as you can see, I'm ripping pieces of the magazine and seeing what they look like on top of the orange paper. What I hope that you notice is that I am arranging and rearranging now. I'm not gluing anything down. I'm just checking it out, ripping pieces in different ways, and seeing what it looks like in different arrangements on that background. Once I've experimented a bit with lots of different arrangements and I am happy with what I see, then I will start to glue on. Now, since these pieces are so tiny and they can really stick to my fingers, I am going to choose to use the glue and water mixture to glue these on. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off all the little pieces, and then I'm going to cover the whole base in the glue and water mixture and then stick it on little by little. Welcome back. So this next one, I'm going to talk about using more than one layer on top of your base layer. So you can see that I cut out an ice cream cone and a fork, and I'm going to add another layer underneath the ice cream cone and the fork to see what kind of effect that gives. So I'm arranging and rearranging with different shapes, different colors until I find something that I like. And then I'm going to glue that on. Let me give you a hint about finding images in magazines. It is going to be much more time effective for you to just look through a magazine and cut out things you like instead of saying, I want a picture of a purple fish or I want a picture of a blue ice cream cone, and then spending 3 hours of your life searching through the magazine. Just trust me on this one. Just look through a magazine, see what cool stuff you can find, and then make a collage out of that. It'll be much easier. So as you can see, I'm carefully gluing on my 3rd layer of my ice cream cone and my fork. Now it is your turn. Go ahead, find some interesting images in a magazine. You can find some other scrap paper and make your 2-layer collage. Okay, so this next collage, I'm going to call fill in the shape, which is you can either draw a very simple shape like a heart or a smiley face or a circle or whatever. You can draw it right onto your base and then fill it in. Or you can find an image that you would like to use, but keeping in mind that you are going to cover this entire image in little bits of paper. So you can see that I have chosen a little shark right here. And again, I'm going to use that glue and water mixture to cover up my base, stick the shark right on there, and then paint right over on top of it. Now the next step is I am going to cut some little pieces of paper to cover up the shark. I want to choose one color or one series of colors for the bottom part, for the blue part, and then another color for the top part. Just have a little look. There we go. So I found a cool pattern in a magazine, and what I'm going to do is chop that up into bits to stick onto one part of the shark. I'm going to add one final layer of glue on top of that to make sure all the little bits are nice and smoothed down, and then I'm going to choose my color for the top part of the shark and do the same thing. Once your shape is totally filled in and covered and you've added another layer of glue on top of there to make it nice and shiny and smooth, it is your turn. Pause this video and try a fill in the shape collage. And we're on to our last collage. The last collage is mixed media. So in addition to just gluing papers onto a background, you're going to add something else. Maybe it'll be oil pastel, maybe it'll be some beads, maybe it'll be some yarn. That part is completely up to you. So the first thing I did was I looked through a magazine, found something that I thought looked interesting, like this measuring cup, and I cut it out. All right, so as you can see here, I also cut out a little shark, and then what I did was I trimmed a hole. I made a hole in the top of the measuring cup because I thought to myself, that would be kind of interesting to have the shark coming out of the measuring cup. I'm arranging and rearranging on the black paper to see what's going to look the best. Now I notice that it's really coming off of the paper, so what I'm doing here is I'm arranging it, making a little line so I know where to cut, and then giving it a little trim. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that whole thing onto the paper. Once I waited for that to dry a little bit, then I added some white pencil, and I also went ahead and took some beads because I wanted to see what some beads would look like, very, very carefully glued in specific places on the collage. I wasn't sure that the pencil showed up very well, so what I did was I went ahead and used some chalk pastel to really pump up those colors a little bit. All right, enough watching me. Now it is your turn. Go ahead and pause this video and create a mixed media collage.